Hi everybody, I'm Kate.
And I'm Paloma.
And today we'll be discussing phantom shares. Today we're discussing a term that sounds like a ghost story, but is actually the holy grail for many tech companies, phantom shares. To help us understand if this is just smoke and mirrors or a gold mine, we're joined by Paloma, our specialist on the topic. So what exactly is this? Are we giving away pieces of the company, or is it something else entirely?
Well, there's nothing scary about it, despite the confusing name. Essentially, a phantom share is a cash settlement right, so you aren't granting the employee an actual share or equity stake in your company. Instead, you grant them a notional unit that tracks the value of a real share. So if the company's valuation increases, the value of that phantom unit increases accordingly. Ultimately, the employee receives a cash payment for that gain in value, but they never become a shareholder, nor do they have voting rights. It's like betting on the company's success from the inside without holding actual title deeds.
So where did this idea of playing with ghosts originate?
Well, it actually originated with the Silicon Valley ecosystem around the 1970s and 80s. There are actual stock options, which are rights to purchase real shares, were the standard. However, in jurisdictions with more rigid legal frameworks like Spain, bringing 50 employees into the cap table of a limited liability company is a bureaucratic nightmare.
And why did they become so popular here specifically?
Really out of pure evolutionary necessity. In Spain, if you want to grant equity or shares, you have to go to a notary public every time an employee joins or leaves, which stifles the company's agility. Phantom share plans began expanding rapidly in Spain about 10 to 12 years ago, coinciding with the startup boom. So founders wanted to attract talent from giants like Google or Amazon, but lacked the liquidity to pay six-figure salaries. So they offered future value. Phantom shares became the perfect solution because they're flexible, governed by a private contract, and require no notary intervention or amendments to the Articles of Association.
But I imagine, Paloma, it's not as simple as handing over a piece of paper or asking for money the next day. There must be fine print.
Exactly. This is where key concepts like vesting and the cliff come in. Typically, an employee doesn't earn their units all at once. The standard in Spain is a 4-year vesting schedule to ensure talent retention. If you leave before the first year, the cliff period, you walk away with nothing. After that milestone, you begin vesting or consolidating your units month by month.
And when are they cashed out? Because if I'm not a shareholder, I can't exactly sell them on the market.
That's the crucial point. They're triggered by a liquidity event. So this is why defining that event in the contract is vital. Usually this means when a larger company acquires the startup or when it goes through an IPO, which is the initial public offering. And at that moment, the company settles the phantom shares and the employee receives a check for the appreciation in value since they joined.
Let's get to the bottom line. Paloma, the tax man. What does the tax agency say about this? I suspect they want their share of the ghost too.
So this is where you have to be careful. In Spain, phantom shares are taxed as employment income. In other words, they fall under the general personal income tax scale, just like a bonus or your salary. So this can mean the tax agency takes between 19% and 40%, depending on the amount. Unlike real shares or units, which may offer tax advantages under the new startup law, phantom shares are easier to manage but can be slightly more tax heavy for the employee.
In summary, agility for the company, an incentive for the worker, but watch out for the tax bill. Paloma, thank you for shedding light on the shadows for us.
My pleasure. Ultimately, it's about ensuring that if ships reach a safe harbor, everyone who rowed gets a share of the bounty.